These are the reasons that I am bullish on CRO in a massive news story coming out today for Crypto.com CRONOS coin holders. We see this headline that I want to talk through in this video. Crypto.com and Canary Capital launching a CRO fund, a CRONOS chain native token being added as a US regulated investment fund. This is big for CRO, and you might be wondering, well, if this big news is so darn wonderful for CRO, well, then how come the price of CRO is actually in the red today? Well, there is a very good reason for that I want to walk you guys through in this video of exactly what's going on in this crypto space. For CRO, some of the recent news, especially this ETF, this fund that has actually now come out for CRO, and many more plans ahead for this token. Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. I am Crypto Kip. Smash the like button if you enjoy this type of content and crypto updates every day. You want to subscribe to the channel as well for some of that. So let's get into it. If you take a peek at our price action today, yeah, this is great news. You know, Canary Capital getting this fund together for the actual CRONOS token, exposure to the traditional market. You got to like that if you're a CRO token holder, but the price is actually in the red today. If you can see that CROCoin's actually down just 1 or 2 percentage points, coming from what was almost 10 cents yesterday. Well, actually, it was just above 10 cents yesterday. Now it's down to 9.5 cents, which is fine in the grand scheme of things, guys. When you zoom out and you look at the weekly candles, we still have a very nice trend happening where we do kind of see this scooping up. I have warned that you see these kind of wicks that I have drawn here. We could see a retest down to these other ranges, coming maybe back down to retest with some wicks down to even 6.9 or 7 cents again, especially if Bitcoin wants to revisit levels below 100K. We've actually been testing if we wanted to go back down to 100K for Bitcoin, but we actually saw, after a really big surge yesterday and a dip this morning, another move back up. There was a lot of volatility being played out in this crypto market. Now, we're going to get into this news story, but the reason that the price action is not soaring for CRO right now is simply because, in general, altcoins are not really going up versus Bitcoin, and we're still waiting on that altcoin season. You can see that reflected in this Bitcoin dominance chart. For those of you guys that don't know what this chart means, I'm sure many of you guys do by now. As Bitcoin dominance continues to climb up, that means that altcoins are underperforming versus Bitcoin. And that really lines up with when you're peeking at just the overall market cap and looking at things that are going on in CoinMarketCap. Look today. Over the last 24 hours, yeah, we've got 1 or 2 coins that are up 1 or 2%, but we've got a lot more coins that are down quite a bit today. And you might be surprised to see, well, CROCoin, how is CROCoin not up at the top of this list today? Well, simply, guys, altcoins really aren't pumping. Not much is. We had a nice pump over the weekend. That kind of got eliminated for altcoins, and Bitcoin's still holding strong. But this news is very big for the future of CRO. So Crypto.com and Canary Capital are launching this US CRO fund. Now, it is the first US regulated investment fund holding the CRONOS chain's native token, CRO. And that is something that I want to highlight for you guys. CROCoin is not just Crypto.com's exchange token. It is, but there's so much more to it. You're talking about the CRONOS chain, which is why they rebranded the Crypto.com coin from CRO and just being Crypto.com's coin to the CRONOS coin, because they've got their own blockchain. And this blockchain is EVM compatible, and it's very easy to use. It's wonderful, though it does not have a ton of users on it right now. There's like 6,000 or under 10,000 active wallet addresses on CRONOS right now. When you compare that to Solana, it's like 100x less than Solana, or something wild like that if you take a peek at it. Well, how do we get more people to find out about CRO and to learn about CRONOS and how awesome the DeFi protocol is? All the DeFi protocols are on CRONOS and the actual chain and the speed and cost of the chain itself. Well, you need more brand awareness, and that's something that Crypto.com seems to excel at, which leads me to thinking that we still have a lot of bullish times ahead for Crypto.com, because this is the first bull market the CRONOS chain has ever been around. And in this first time around for the CRONOS chain actually being a real chain that's actually happening and launched and live, now they've got this great news where the native token is part of this US regulated investment fund. This is the first exchange token, to my knowledge, ever to be a part of a US regulated investment fund. they're first to the table here, guys. And this is in addition to some of the other bullish news that we've seen where in March, the crypto exchange partnered with Trump Media and Technology Group, a company affiliated with the president, to launch a series of Trump-branded ETFs, including one holding CRO. This is in addition to that. And so we haven't actually seen any CRO ETFs. This is not a CRO ETF. Let me clarify and make sure that's very apparent to you guys. This is a U.S. regulated investment fund holding the CRONOS token, but this is not a CRONOS ETF yet. We do see a lot of optimism in these articles today following the Trump Media partnership. Crypto.com announces CRO investment trust with Canary Capital, quite a large group. These are more moves in the right direction, and they even highlight that recently the company's legal dispute with the SEC ended following the leadership changes from the government. So we've got so many good things going, but what history is being made here by one of the first exchange tokens being a part of a U.S. regulated investment fund? We love to see this, guys. And if you're holding CRONOS, you should be to see this as well. You can see CRONOS's total value locked at nearly $440 million. It's in the top 20 of TVL when it comes to looking at DeFi Llama and comparing to the other chains. That being said, it's got a lot of growth that still needs to be had ahead of it. This market cap for this coin is so much smaller than one of its largest competitors out there, which I like to compare it to Binance, which is why, looking at Binance at 90 billion and knowing that CRONOS coin right now with this awesome news is only sitting at 2.5 billion, you can see that there is so much room for upside, leaving an easy 10 or 20x for the future of CRO, in my opinion. And this news story just helps me continue to be bullish on this. What's shocking to me is actually the CEO of CRIS. This is such new news that the CEO of CRIS has not actually even tweeted about this yet. You can be sure that he will be talking about this Canary Capital CRO fund coming in the US, because this is definitely a huge step in the right direction for CRO, for crypto.com. And so you can be sure that Chris is definitely going to be tweeting out about it later. They've got an excellent roadmap. And if you want to trade some of the volatility in this market, and as you can see, based on that Bitcoin chart, there's a ton of it. I actually recently had a short little Bitcoin long that I took some profit, made $100 or $200 on yesterday with a nice little Bitcoin long, an easy 8-10x. I'm doing trading in this volatility. You could trade CRO, you could trade Pepe, you could trade all your favorite coins on Blowfin if you want to do some trading. But I believe that CRO is one that's it's really a staple to my portfolio in terms of having a good risk to reward balance. Bitcoin, I think, is the least risky crypto. Of course, cryptos are risky in general. It's a risky asset class. There's a ton of volatility. But I think that as you're getting into the crypto space, Bitcoin, I think, is always the number one focus. And then you look for some of the other coins out there that have, maybe a different risk to reward ratio. And I like having CRO as a part of my portfolio because it's not as risky as a meme coin, right? But it's more risky than Bitcoin in the sense that it could actually outperform Bitcoin. And the reason that I say something so outlandish like that, and it might seem outlandish to you guys, is simply because Bitcoin has been outperforming the rest of the crypto market for a very long time. It bottomed in Bitcoin dominance back in September of 2022. And right now you can see it's rallied quite a bit against the altcoins, up 63% over the last 1,000 days. At some point, I'm looking for altcoins to get a surge against Bitcoin dominance to drop. And at that point, I believe that those other, riskier altcoins like CRO, like even Solana, Doge, or Pepe, or some of these blue chips out there, and maybe Pepe's not a blue chip yet, but I think it could be in the future. These are going to start outperforming Bitcoin. I think the entire market is going to surge. I believe that we're going to see this total market cap for crypto go from what is now $3.26 trillion to maybe $10 trillion, or at some point in the future, maybe even $20 trillion for a total market cap for crypto, because we do see crypto entering the U.S. in a very real way. This exchange coin being a part of the U.S. regulated investment fund is great. We want to continue to see this. Crypto.com is, in my opinion, headed in the right direction with this news. And again, if you want to do some trading of your own, you can sign up for Blowfin using our link in the comments and description down below. Check it out if you want to do so. That's all I have for you in this one, guys. I like CRO at around 10 cents. If we do come down to that 7-cent level to retest the bottom as Bitcoin dominance surges, I think that's in a great accumulation zone. Maybe a good opportunity for a trade on CRO as well. Not financial advice, of course. As always, though, we'll keep the content coming, guys. DCA, HODL, smash a like. 2 videos right here if you want to check them out. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.